What if I told you that everything you've been taught about creating wealth is not just wrong, but it's actually keeping you broke? What if the very methods you're using to try to get rich are the exact same methods that are pushing wealth away from you, like two magnets with the same polarity? And what if I could show you a scientifically proven method that can transform you into a literal wealth magnet in just 21 days, using principles that have been tested and proven for over a century? Here's what's really disturbing. Right now, as you're listening to this, there are people who started with less than you, people who had fewer advantages, fewer connections, less education, and they're creating wealth at a rate that seems almost supernatural. They're not working harder than you. They're not smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They're simply operating according to a different set of laws, laws that most people don't even know exist. The brilliant Wallace Wattles discovered these laws over 100 years ago and wrote about them in what might be the most important book ever written on wealth creation. But here's the problem. Most people read his work and completely miss the most crucial part. They focus on the theory and ignore the practice. They understand the concepts but never implement the method. And without the method, the concepts are worthless. Today, I'm going to share with you the exact 21-day practice that can rewire your entire relationship with wealth. This isn't some new age wishful thinking. This is a scientific method based on universal laws that work as predictably as gravity. By the time we're done here, you'll understand why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle their entire lives. You'll know the exact difference between thinking that creates wealth and thinking that destroys it. You'll have the specific daily practice that can transform your financial reality in just 3 weeks. But more importantly, you'll understand why this works at the deepest level, so you can apply it with the absolute certainty that comes from understanding natural law. You're about to discover the secret that the wealthiest people in history have used, whether they knew it consciously or not. You're about to learn how to become a wealth magnet. The first thing you need to understand is that wealth creation is not about competition. This is where almost everyone gets it wrong. They think that for them to get rich, someone else has to be poor. They think that wealth is limited and they have to fight for their share. They approach wealth creation with what Wattles called competitive thinking, and competitive thinking is the enemy of wealth. Here's what's happening when you think competitively about wealth. You're operating from a mindset of scarcity. You're focused on what already exists rather than what can be created. You're trying to get your piece of the pie instead of making the pie bigger. And when you do this, you align yourself with forces that actually push wealth away from you. Think about it this way. When you're in competition mode, you're focused on taking. When you're focused on taking, you're in a state of need. When you're in a state of need, you broadcast that need to the universe, and the universe responds by giving you more experiences of need. This is why people who are desperate for money rarely get it. Their desperation creates the very conditions that keep money away. But there's another way to think about wealth, and this is the key to the entire method. Instead of competitive thinking, you can engage in creative thinking. Creative thinking is focused on making something new, something that didn't exist before. When you think creatively about wealth, you're not trying to take from what already exists. You're trying to create new value, new solutions, new wealth. And here's the beautiful thing about creative thinking. When you create new value, you don't take from anyone. You add to the total amount of wealth in the world. And when you add to the total amount of wealth in the world, the universe has no choice but to reward you with a portion of what you've created. This is natural law in action. So the first part of your 21-day practice is to catch yourself every time you slip into competitive thinking about wealth, every time you think about getting rich by taking from others, every time you resent someone else's success, every time you think there's not enough to go around. You need to stop and consciously shift to creative thinking. Ask yourself, how can I create new value? How can I solve a problem that hasn't been solved? How can I make people's lives better in a way that no one else is doing? This shift from competitive to creative thinking is the foundation of everything else we're going to discuss. The second principle that will transform your financial life is understanding what Wattles called the thinking substance. This is perhaps the most important concept in all of wealth creation, and it's the one that most people struggle to grasp. But once you understand it, everything else becomes simple. The thinking substance is the raw material of the universe. It's the stuff that everything is made of, and it responds to thought. Now, I know this might sound mystical, but it's actually very practical. Think about it this way. Everything that exists in the human world started as a thought in someone's mind. Every building, every invention, every business, every work of art, it all started as an idea. But here's what most people don't understand. The thinking substance doesn't just respond to any thought. It responds to clear, definite, persistent thought backed by absolute faith. Random thoughts don't create anything. Wishy-washy thoughts don't create anything. Fearful thoughts actually create what you fear. But clear, definite, persistent thoughts backed by absolute faith, those thoughts have creative power. This is why the second part of your 21-day practice is so crucial. Every single day, you need to spend time forming a clear mental image of the wealth you want to create. Not just thinking about it casually, but really seeing it in your mind's eye with perfect clarity. You need to see exactly how much money you want, exactly how you want to earn it, exactly what you want to do with it. And here's the key. You can't just visualize the money itself. You need to visualize the value you're going to create to earn that money. You need to see yourself serving others in a way that generates the wealth you desire. Because remember, we're thinking creatively, not competitively. We're focused on creating value, not taking value. So every day, for at least 20 minutes, you're going to sit quietly and form this clear mental image. You're going to see yourself creating tremendous value for others. You're going to see the wealth flowing to you as a natural result of that value creation, and you're going to hold this image with absolute certainty that it's not just possible, but inevitable. But visualization alone isn't enough. This brings us to the third principle, which is the law of gratitude. This is where most people who try to apply these principles fail. They focus on what they want, but forget to be grateful for what they already have. And gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's a fundamental force that connects you to the source of all abundance. Here's how gratitude works in wealth creation. When you're truly grateful for what you have, you're acknowledging that abundance is flowing to you. You're recognizing that you're already connected to the source of all wealth. You're vibrating at the frequency of abundance rather than the frequency of lack. But when you focus only on what you don't have, when you're always thinking about what's missing, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack. And the universe responds to whatever frequency you're broadcasting. If you're broadcasting lack, you get more lack. If you're broadcasting abundance, you get more abundance. This is why the third part of your 21-day practice is a daily gratitude practice specifically focused on abundance. Every morning, before you do anything else, you're going to spend 10 minutes being grateful for all the abundance in your life. And I don't just mean the money you have. I mean all the abundance. The abundance of air you breathe, the abundance of opportunities around you, the abundance of knowledge available to you, the abundance of people willing to help you. You're going to feel genuine gratitude for this abundance. Not just think about it, but feel it in your body. Let the feeling of gratitude fill you completely, and then you're going to be grateful in advance for the wealth that's coming to you. You're going to thank the universe for the abundance that's already on its way, even though you can't see it yet. This practice of gratitude creates a magnetic field around you that attracts more abundance. It's not just positive thinking. It's aligning yourself with the fundamental force that governs all wealth creation. Now, the fourth principle is where the rubber meets the road. It's what Wattles called intelligent action. You can think creatively all you want. You can visualize all you want. You can practice gratitude all you want. But if you don't take intelligent action, nothing will happen. But here's what's crucial to understand. Intelligent action is not just any action. It's not busy work. It's not hustling for the sake of hustling. Intelligent action is action that moves you toward your clearly defined goal in the most direct way possible. And here's the key. When you're thinking creatively, when you're connected to the thinking substance, when you're vibrating at the frequency of gratitude, opportunities will appear, ideas will come to you, doors will open, people will show up. Your job is to recognize these opportunities and act on them immediately. This is the fourth part of your 21-day practice. Every day, you're going to take at least one action that moves you toward your wealth goal, but not just any action. Intelligent action, action that's guided by your creative vision, action that creates value for others, action that feels right when you consider it. And here's something important. You don't have to know the entire path. You don't have to see all the steps. You just have to take the next step that's revealed to you. Trust that when you take that step, the next step will be revealed. This is how the universe works. It doesn't show you the whole staircase. It just shows you the next step. The fifth principle that will accelerate your wealth creation is understanding the power of definite purpose. Most people want to be wealthy, but they don't have a definite purpose for their wealth. They just want more money. But the universe doesn't respond to vague desires. It responds to definite purposes backed by burning desire. You need to know exactly why you want wealth, not just so you can buy things, but so you can fulfill your purpose in life. What's your mission? What's your calling? How do you want to serve the world? How will having wealth enable you to fulfill that mission more completely? When you have a definite purpose for your wealth, something magical happens. You tap into a source of energy and motivation that's far more powerful than just wanting money for its own sake. You align yourself with forces that want to help you succeed because your success serves something greater than yourself. So the fifth part of your 21-day practice is to spend time every day connecting with your definite purpose. Why do you want wealth? How will you use it to serve others? How will you use it to make the world better? Connect with this purpose emotionally. Feel how good it will feel to use your wealth in service of something greater than yourself. This isn't just motivational fluff. This is practical psychology. When you have a definite purpose that's bigger than yourself, you become unstoppable. You develop the persistence to keep going when things get difficult. You develop the creativity to find solutions to problems. You develop the magnetism that attracts the right people and opportunities to you. The sixth principle is what I call the certainty factor. This is perhaps the most challenging part of the practice, but it's also the most important. You need to develop absolute certainty that your wealth is already guaranteed. Not hope, not wishful thinking, not positive thinking. Absolute certainty. This is where most people struggle. They want wealth, but they don't really believe they can have it. They visualize, but they don't really believe their visualizations will manifest. They take action, but they're not really sure it will work. And this lack of certainty sabotages everything else they do. But here's the thing. If you understand the laws we've been discussing, if you understand that the universe is made of thinking substance that responds to thought, if you understand that creative thinking aligned with gratitude and intelligent action must produce results, then you can develop rational certainty. This isn't blind faith. This is certainty based on understanding natural law. You know that gravity will pull an object toward the earth. You don't hope it will. You don't wish it will. You know it will because you understand the law. In the same way, when you understand the laws of wealth creation, you can know with certainty that following these laws will produce wealth. So the sixth part of your 21-day practice is to work on developing this certainty. Every time doubt creeps in, remind yourself of the laws you're following. Remind yourself that these laws are as reliable as any other natural law. Remind yourself that your wealth is not a matter of luck or chance. It's a matter of natural consequence. When you doubt, you disconnect from the thinking substance. When you're certain, you maintain your connection. And your connection to the thinking substance is your connection to unlimited creative power. The seventh and final principle is what Wattles called the advancing life. This is the idea that life is always seeking to express itself more fully, to grow, to expand, to become more. And when you align yourself with this advancing life, you become a channel for its expression. This means that your desire for wealth isn't selfish. It's natural. It's the advancing life in you seeking greater expression. It's the universe seeking to experience itself more fully through you. When you understand this, you can pursue wealth with complete moral certainty. But here's the key. The advancing life isn't just about accumulating things. It's about becoming more. It's about developing your potential. It's about expressing your unique gifts more fully. It's about serving others at a higher level. So the seventh part of your 21-day practice is to focus on becoming more. Every day, ask yourself, how can I become more today? How can I develop my abilities? How can I serve others at a higher level? How can I express my unique gifts more fully? When you focus on becoming more, rather than just having more, you align yourself with the fundamental drive of the universe. You become a channel for the advancing life. And when you become a channel for the advancing life, abundance flows through you naturally. Now, let me tell you exactly how to structure these 21 days. This isn't just theory. This is a specific practice that you can start today. Every morning, as soon as you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, you're going to spend 10 minutes in gratitude. You're going to feel genuine appreciation for all the abundance in your life. You're going to be grateful for the wealth that's coming to you. You're going to let this feeling of gratitude fill your entire being. Then you're going to spend 20 minutes in creative visualization. You're going to see yourself creating tremendous value for others. You're going to see the wealth flowing to you as a natural result of this value creation. You're going to hold this image with absolute clarity and absolute certainty. During this visualization, you're going to connect with your definite purpose. You're going to feel why you want this wealth. You're going to connect emotionally with how you'll use this wealth to serve something greater than yourself. Then, throughout the day, you're going to stay alert for opportunities to take intelligent action. You're going to look for ways to create value. You're going to look for ways to serve others. You're going to look for ways to move toward your wealth goal. And when you see these opportunities, you're going to act on them immediately. Every time you catch yourself thinking competitively about wealth, you're going to stop and shift to creative thinking. Every time doubt creeps in, you're going to remind yourself of the laws you're following and reconnect with your certainty. And every evening, before you go to sleep, you're going to spend 10 minutes reviewing your day. You're going to acknowledge the progress you made. You're going to be grateful for the opportunities that appeared. You're going to connect once more with your vision of wealth and your definite purpose. You're going to do this every single day for 21 days, no exceptions, no skipping days, no half-hearted efforts, 21 days of complete commitment to this practice. Now, you might be wondering why 21 days. It's because 21 days is long enough to establish a new mental pattern, but short enough that you can commit to it completely. Most people can do anything for 21 days, but most people won't do anything for 21 days. Here's what's going to happen during these 21 days. In the first week, you're going to feel resistance. Your old patterns of thinking are going to fight back. You're going to have days when you don't feel like doing the practice. You're going to have moments when you doubt whether this will work. This is normal. This is your old programming trying to keep you where you are. Push through this resistance. Do the practice anyway. Your breakthrough is on the other side of your resistance. In the second week, the practice is going to start feeling more natural. You're going to start noticing opportunities that you didn't see before. You're going to start having ideas that you didn't have before. You're going to start meeting people who can help you. This is the thinking substance responding to your clear, persistent, grateful thought. Don't get excited and abandon the practice. This is just the beginning. Keep going. In the third week, you're going to start seeing real results. Money is going to start flowing to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities are going to appear that seem almost too good to be true. People are going to start treating you differently. You're going to feel different. You're going to think different. You're going to be different. This is you becoming a wealth magnet. But here's the most important thing. After 21 days, don't stop. This practice needs to become a way of life. The moment you stop practicing these principles, you start losing your connection to the source of abundance. The moment you slip back into competitive thinking, scarcity thinking, ungrateful thinking, you start pushing wealth away again. Make this practice part of who you are. Make these principles part of your identity. Don't just do them, become them. Now, I want to address something that some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, this sounds too simple. If it's this easy, why isn't everyone wealthy? Here's why everyone isn't wealthy. Because most people won't do simple things consistently. They want complex strategies that don't require discipline. They want get-rich-quick schemes that don't require personal development. They want magic bullets that don't require changing their thinking. But wealth creation isn't complicated. It's simple. It's just not easy. It requires discipline. It requires consistency. It requires faith. It requires the willingness to change your fundamental relationship with money and abundance. Most people aren't willing to do this. They'd rather stay broke and complain about it than change their thinking and become wealthy. But you're different. You're here. You're listening. You're ready to do what it takes. Let me also address another concern you might have. You might be thinking, what if I do this practice and nothing happens? What if I waste 21 days? First of all, you can't waste 21 days becoming more grateful, more focused, more purposeful, and more action-oriented. Even if you didn't make a single dollar, you'd be better off for having done this practice. But second, and more importantly, if you do this practice correctly, with complete commitment, something will happen. It has to happen. It's natural law. You can't think creatively, gratefully, purposefully, and act intelligently without creating results. It's impossible. The only way this practice doesn't work is if you don't do it, or if you do it half-heartedly. But if you commit to it completely, if you follow every step exactly as I've outlined, you will see results. Here's something else that's important to understand. This practice doesn't just create wealth. It creates the person who naturally attracts wealth. Most people are trying to get rich without becoming the type of person who naturally attracts richness. That's why their wealth doesn't last, even when they do get it. But when you do this practice, you become a different person. You become someone who thinks differently, feels differently, and acts differently. You become someone who naturally creates value for others. You become someone who naturally attracts abundance. You become someone who naturally maintains and multiplies wealth. This isn't just about getting money. This is about becoming the person you were meant to be. Now let me paint a picture of what your life is going to look like after you become a wealth magnet. You're going to wake up every morning with excitement because you know that abundance is flowing to you. You're going to see opportunities everywhere because your mind is trained to see them. You're going to meet people who want to help you succeed because you're focused on creating value for others. Money is going to flow to you from sources you never expected. Business opportunities are going to appear that perfectly match your skills and interests. People are going to offer you deals that seem too good to be true. You're going to have ideas for creating value that excite you and serve others at the same time. But more than the money, you're going to have something that most people never experience. You're going to have absolute certainty that you can create wealth whenever you want to. You're going to have unshakable confidence in your ability to provide value to others. You're going to have peace of mind knowing that you understand the laws that govern abundance. You're never going to worry about money again, not because you have so much that you can't spend it all, but because you know that you can create more whenever you need it. This is what it means to be a wealth magnet. This is what's waiting for you on the other side of 21 days of committed practice. So here's what I want you to do right now, before you do anything else, before you watch another video, before you check your phone, before you make any excuses. I want you to commit to this 21-day practice. I want you to say out loud, I commit to practicing these principles every single day for the next 21 days. Say it out loud. Make it real. Make it a commitment, not just an intention. And then I want you to start tomorrow morning. Set your alarm 15 minutes earlier than usual. When you wake up, don't check your phone. Don't think about your problems. Don't think about your bills. Go directly to your gratitude practice. Spend 10 minutes being grateful for all the abundance in your life. Then spend 20 minutes visualizing yourself creating tremendous value for others and wealth flowing to you as a result. See it clearly, feel it deeply, know it's coming. Then go out into your day, looking for opportunities to take intelligent action. Look for ways to create value. Look for ways to serve others. Look for ways to move toward your wealth goal. Do this for 21 days and watch your life transform. But I want to warn you about something. Your friends and family might not understand what you're doing. They might think you've lost touch with reality. They might try to talk you out of it. They might tell you that you're wasting your time. Don't listen to them. They're operating from the same scarcity mindset that's keeping them broke. They can't see what you're doing because they've never experienced what you're about to experience. Stay committed to your practice. Trust the process. Trust the laws. Trust yourself. And remember this. The wealthy people in the world didn't get wealthy by accident. They didn't get wealthy by luck. They got wealthy by understanding and applying the same principles I've shared with you today. Some of them learned these principles consciously. Others learned them unconsciously, but they all learned them. You now have conscious access to these principles. You now have a specific practice for applying them. You now have everything you need to transform your financial life. The only question is, will you use what you've learned? 21 days from now, you can be exactly where you are today, with the same financial problems, the same financial stress, the same financial limitations. Or you can be well on your way to becoming a wealth magnet, with money flowing to you from unexpected sources, opportunities appearing everywhere you look, and the unshakable confidence that comes from understanding how abundance really works. The choice is yours, but you have to choose now, you have to commit now, you have to start now. Your wealthy future is waiting for you. It's been waiting for you your entire life. It's time to claim it. Practice these principles for 21 days and become the wealth magnet you were born to be.